Starting and managing export business, and today we are looking at part 46. And in this part 46, we are going to be discussing letter of credit. Letter of credit. Letter of credit. Letter of credit is a payment method in international trade, and it's an undertaking of a buyer, of a buyer's bank, given to the seller, giving assurance of payment when shipment is made and documents are presented that conform to the terms and conditions of the credit. Remember, we've been discussing different payment methods. We talked about open account, we talked about bill for collection, we talked about advance payment, we talked about letter of credit. I mentioned all of them in the past. I've explained two. I've explained three: advance payment, open account, bill for collection, and then I'm rounding off with letter of credit. Out of all the payment methods, the one that seems to strike a reasonable balance between all of them is actually letter of credit. And this is because letter of credit ensures that at no point in the course of a transaction is one party overly exposed to the other party. That is, in letter of credit transaction, the exporter ships the goods after he has received an undertaking of the buyer to make payment. In letter of credit transaction, the buyer is not looking up to the credit, the exporter is not looking up to the credit of the importer, but is looking up to the credit of the importer's bank. Because the importer's bank gives an undertaking to pay. So, the exporter can give a reasonable credit terms. He can agree to payment to come later. After all, the buyer's bank have guaranteed that the payment will be made. So one of the beauty of letter of credit is the fact that as the buyer's bank is guaranteeing payment will be made, and that guarantee gives the exporter the confidence to ship, the importer at the same time also have so the exporter at the same time, the importer at the same time always have a guarantee that the good he is paying for will meet the quality specification if he has used the instrument and opportunity he has at his disposal to mitigate that risk of not getting paid. What that means is that it's possible that I use a secure payment method but did not engage the instrument to protect me. The payment method is still secured, but I didn't use it to my advantage. That means potentially I could prevent issues occurring as a result of issuing delayed payment occurring as a result of letter of credit. But you know what? It is also very possible that despite that letter of credit, a buyer is still unable to pay. You know, it's so interesting to know that in as much as you are seeking for a payment method that is secured, it is also very important to look at the pros and cons of the security you're talking about. What exactly do I mean by this? Why the LC is guaranteeing your payment on one hand as an exporter, it's also placing a demand on you such that a minor error in your documentation could form a basis of not getting paid. A minor error in your documentation could form a basis of not getting paid. A minor error in your documentation could be the reason why you will not be paid, even though you have shipped the goods. Another name for letter of credit is called documentary credit. And what that means is that your transaction must comply with documents stipulated in the LC as the basis for payment. As a matter of fact, many exporters will always say, I want irrevocable, confirmable letter of credit, irrevocable, qualify the letter of credit in whatever form you want to qualify it. Even the letter of credit is inherently irrevocable. So saying you want irrevocable letter of credit is tautology, as the Englishman would say. But let me not go into all of that. I'm just saying that as you demand for a very good payment method to protect yourself, always remember that that payment method has its own issues also. That payment method has its own issue also. That payment method might not be protecting you as you think it will. And this can swing both ways. Letter of credit is supposed to ensure that importer get quality for what is being paid for, and ensure that exporter gets a guarantee that his payment will be made for the good he has shipped. There's a gross misconception on the understanding of credit among a number of exporters in Nigeria. So I'll be doing in this series, I'm hoping probably I'll spend another 2-3 days talking about this. I'll be doing I'll be discussing rather on the types, dates, and other important issues of letter of credit that might be of concern. I'm talking about that. And the reason for that is I want this particular episode, just the way we've done for open account, to be able to address most issues that people will likely face whenever they have to deal with an open account transaction, so with a letter of credit transaction. And the reason for that is because being able to have a good understanding of open account and letter of credit transaction is going to help a great deal, such that even when you get a letter of credit, it becomes a lot easier for you to maximize the benefit of a letter of credit. It is so important to understand that letter of credit, as good as it might be, does not always protect you, especially when you are not using all the full benefit that it offers. Someone defines letter of credit as a written commitment by a bank to make payment at sight of a defined amount of money to a beneficiary according to the terms and conditions specified by the importer. Letter of credit should set a time limit for completion and specify which document needed to confirm transaction fulfillment. Now, I have issue with that definition. That definition assumes that all letter of credit will be at site. Now, another one, look at another definition. It says, an international letter of credit is a method of payment that's particularly suited for high-value risk transaction. It is one of the 4 payment methods in international trade. I've not seen the definition I'm looking for. Okay, let me look for another one. A letter of credit is a document from a bank that guarantees payment. And there are different types of letter of credit. It's a document that guarantees payment. I like to define it as an undertaking of the importer's bank given to the exporter, giving assurance of payment when shipment is made and documents are presented that conform to the terms of the letter of credit. Look at that definition very well. It's an undertaking of the importer's bank. So the importer gives an undertaking. Do you know the implication of that? Any bank giving an undertaking find a way to protect itself. Any bank giving an undertaking find a way to protect itself. Some 100%, some percentage. An undertaking of the importer bank issued in favor of the exporter. By the way, there are 2 parties to a letter of credit. 2 parties. The issuer of the credit, the beneficiary of the credit. The issuing bank and the beneficiary. In some cases, we can have a 3rd party to the ILC, and that would be a confirming bank. And I'll be talking about that later on when we begin to discuss confirmation of letter of credit. Now, I was saying that it's an undertaking of the importer's bank given to the exporter, because the exporter is the one that is performing. So you notice something, that in both cases, both buyer's bank and exporter have commitment in this transaction. Buyer's bank is to effect payment. Seller is to ship the goods. Undertaking of the importer's bank given to the exporter, giving assurance of payment when shipment is made and documents are presented that conform to the terms and conditions of the credit. Shipment is made. Documents are presented. So what means is, for me as an exporter to be qualified to benefit from the guarantee of payment, assurance of payment, undertaking given by the importer's bank, I must have done the shipment. Number 1. Number 2, I must gather all the documents required that shows that I have shipped what is expected, and I must present those documents. Present those documents to the bank. When I present it to the bank, it gives an insight into all the detail of the transaction that I claim to have done. It gives an insight to whoever it is I'm dealing with. It gives an insight to the bank who has issued that LC, and the insight is to let them know, indeed, I've done this transaction And here is the evidence that I've not just done it, but I've also performed according to the terms. Remember that one of the major challenge of letter of credit is that importer will likely pay before he sees the goods, and that poses a big challenge. Importer will likely pay before he sees the goods, and that poses a very, very, very big challenge. Why is that a challenge? That is a challenge because it means that if the importer has not put in place a way to ensure that the quality of the good being shipped are right, they might have ended up paying for rubbish. And I tell you sincerely, this is a major, major, major concern for anyone. A major, major, major concern for anyone that is involved in international trade transaction as an importer. It's a major concern. By the way, letter of credit is a widely used trade finance instrument in the world. And ensures that exporter cross his T's and dot his I's. It ensures that exporter cross his T's and dot his I's. Only way an importer will be convinced of what was shipped. So an importer can place any demand on the exporter as a condition for payment. However, any condition an importer is giving to the exporter for payment must be documentary in nature. That means if I say exporter must have done ABC before shipment, then I must also tell the bank these are the documents you must see that will show that exporter has done ABC. Basically, we are saying that the importer have the power vested upon him by UCPC sundry, the rule guiding letter of credit, to be able to place any demand on the exporter in relation to the good he claimed or purportedly shipped. However, whatever demand you are claiming must be reduced to documents, because the bank do not deal in documents, the bank deal in goods. The bank do not deal in documents, the bank deal in goods. The bank, any bank in the letter of credit do not deal. Sorry, I'm reversing it. I think I made a mistake. The bank do not deal in goods. The bank deal in documents. To retrace that very well. The bank do not deal in goods. The bank deal in documents. The bank do not deal in goods. The bank deal in documents. I'll rephrase that. Bank deal in document and not in goods, services, or performance to which the document relates. Bank deal in document and not in goods, services, or performance to which the document relates. Banks deal in documents and not in goods, services, or performance to which the document relates. So when you are going to place a demand on an importer, on an exporter as an importer, ensure it is documentary in nature. If you say exporter must pack the product in jute bag, that's a condition. You must pack in jute bag. Then in your quality inspection report, you will ask what the inspection agent should check. Jute bag weighing 80 kg if you are doing raw material like cashew nut, or carton weighing 20 kg or 22 kg or 20 kg minimum with 20 pieces inside. I mean, whatever specification you want, you are free. Letter of credit give you leeway. Now, let me now tell you the issue. If an exporter is expected to ship, today is June 5, Exporter is ready to ship June 5. That is the latest date of shipment. And the exporter ship June 6, 1 day after. That will form a basis for non-payment. That will form a basis for non-payment. But the beauty is that is called a discrepancies which can be waived by the importer. So if the importer is terribly in need of the goods, the importer can waive the discrepancy. But if it's not in need of that goods, not desperate, he can actually use it to even negotiate a lower price and frustrate the exporter. For me, an exporter who is busy searching for letter of credit because he believes that's the only protective instrument for payment should also know that he has a lot of work to do. Do not just think that the fact that you love a particular let me rephrase that statement. The fact that you love a letter of credit as the guaranteed source of payment for you does not mean that it is totally safe for you. It does not mean that it is totally safe for you. There are inherent risks in it, but the beauty is that those inherent risks can be anticipated and mitigated. Those inherent risks can be anticipated and mitigated. On your part as an exporter, there are needs for some expertise in arranging this document to ensure shipment is done as at when due and documents are presented as at when due. Documents are presented as at when due to the bank that have offered to make the payment. Now, a letter of credit has been used for the last several hundred years and is considered a highly effective way for banks to transact and finance import-export. No doubt, letter of credit has been used for many years and sincerely is a very dynamic instrument that makes it a lot easier and possible to finance import and export. Very lovely instrument, very nice instrument, very great instrument that makes it easy and make it possible to finance import and export. Lovely instrument, awesome instrument, great instrument, making it easy to finance import and export. But like I said, banks love it. It guarantees their payment. Banks love it. It guarantees their payment. But you know what? Even banks, if not careful, might find themselves having delay in their payment because they have refused to learn how to check documents. You know, I've spoken to bankers in the past, and they argue with me on this issue. And you know why I laugh when they argue? They argue with me that, okay, I was saying that Nigerian banks, most, not all, most, especially those in trade, most are not competent enough in document examination. They issue a lot of LC, by the way. They check document on import, by the way. But when they check those documents, they are the one that issued it. So they are the one that have the power to pay. So the thoroughness with which they check that document is very low. The same document that they have checked that was deemed okay, sometimes we get abroad, and they will spot some number of discrepancies. And then you'll be wondering, I thought we checked this document locally. How come we're having these discrepancies? We're having it because the bank that check it locally do not know exactly how to go about the check. Not because they don't want to know, but because we are used to import and most of the customers don't allow us to even check. They waive this discrepancy already, so you don't really have to check. And this discrepancy in the terms of the LC vis-a-vis the document presented is the bane. In fact, out of every 10 documents presented in the world, 7 are discrepant. Out of every 10 documents presented in the world, 7 are discrepant. And that means delays on those transactions. So I'm of the opinion that letter of credit has become a nuisance to international trade transaction in the world. I am of the opinion that letter of credit has become a nuisance to international trade transaction in the world. And that explains the reason why. The world is moving away from this so-called secure payment method and moving to open accounts that is a lot risky because it prevents delay for them. They can do what they need to do. They can close what they need to close and move on with their transactions. So many people don't want letter of credit. Not because they don't want to pay, but because they are just tired of the discrepancy and the delay it poses on their transaction. And they don't want those delays. Letter of credit is an instrument through which a bank furnishes its credit in place of its customer's credit. The bank plays an intermediary role to help complete the trade transaction. Because as an exporter, I'm not looking to the buyer to pay, I'm looking for the buyer's bank to pay. The buyer's bank substitutes the credit of his buyer with his own. Even if his buyer or customer is not creditworthy, I am comfortable with the financial institution who issued the instrument because they will be creditworthy. For them even to be allowed to issue that instrument by the authority, they will be creditworthy. And that's one of the major challenges. Training. Major challenge in trade transaction. Because for the bank to substitute its credit for your credit, you must be creditworthy. So the bank sometimes will ask you to bring the cash, or the bank will give you a loan with collateral. And that's how LC are issued. So, and that's a challenge for an importer because he's then going to pay the bank some fees. That means if there is any failure on the part of the exporter to ship the goods, it's going to put the importer in negative because the importer will have paid a non-refundable fee to the bank to be able to give out that instrument that he gave to protect the payment being expected. Bank deal only in document and does not deal in goods. I've talked about that. Therefore, a letter of credit cannot prevent an importer from being taken in by an unscrupulous exporter. Letter of credit is a fantastic tool for fraud. It's a fantastic tool for money laundering. And that's the risk a lot of importer face. So if I use letter of credit, it can be used to defraud banks. It can be used to launder money because the goods that was claimed to have been shipped might eventually not be shipped for whatever reason. And document can come to show that goods were shipped. And that means payment will have to be made. Thank you very much for listening again this evening. My name is Dela Imba, and this is Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from Trading Method Academy. Remember the 5 things I always request that you do for us every time. Because this video is on YouTube. Visit our YouTube channel, 3thinkPest TV. You search 3thinkPest on YouTube, you find us. Here is the 5 things to do for us. Number 1, share the video. Number 2, subscribe to our channel. Number 3, like the video. Number 4, click the bell, the notification bell to get notification. And lastly, drop your comment, be it positive or negative. See you in the morning tomorrow by 8 a.m. as I continue the conversation on letter of credit. Bye for now.